Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to everyone. How are you all? Hoping after yesterday's test you all are fine. Please do not worry for your scores because I will be re-verifying your scores manually. I'm going to correct it. Soon you will get your actual results. The way of testing, I hope you understood it, you liked it. Maybe it was a very first test for you all. So maybe it was bit confusing or difficult for you, but this is a very good way. In the same way, there are so many competitive examinations are conducted online nowadays, so this is kind of a practice to you all as well in that manner. Anyway, let us continue with our science topic. This is the second part of your science topic. In this part, we will be just taking some more efforts learning about microorganisms. Before that, we'll take a revision, a recap of what we have done yesterday. Microbes, that is microorganisms, we checked. Four different types of microorganisms we have understood: fungus, algae, protozoans, and bacteria. Some helpful bacterias we talked about, right? Then we checked the difference between microorganisms and virus, because we got to know that viruses are not equivalent to microorganisms, they are not similar. So we talked about virus, we talked about difference between microorganisms and virus, right? Later on we talked about antibiotics, which works on microorganisms, but antibiotic won't work on virus causing diseases causing virus, sorry. So the antibiotic can work or can be helpful for those diseases which caused by microorganisms, and for virus we need vaccine. For diseases causing virus we need vaccination. So I have already suggested that you can try finding what is exactly vaccine and how exactly it is created. So in fact, vaccine is a very different process which uses self immunity and self antidote. What is antidote? Antidote is a kind of a treatment or kind of a method, or maybe a way generated by our body to fight against any virus that what enters in our body, right? So what vaccine is, imagine if I want to prepare a coronavirus vaccine. So the dead coronavirus or a weak coronavirus, a typical quantity is entered through injection in our body. That is called as a vaccine. Okay, there are different multiple ways of transferring vaccine in the body: oral or injections. These are the doses that what you got it in your childhood days. uh, the vaccine is nothing but the same virus, but the weak one or the dead one is put into the body. Now body is, it gets ready, body becomes ready to fight against that virus and prepare its own antidote. When it prepares its own antidote and the body remembers that antidote, so whenever in a later stage, when you grow and when you are affected by that particular virus, the body knows how to fight against that particular virus. So in fact, the vaccine is nothing but a kind of a training to our body how to fight against the virus, and to train or to give the kind of a training, a demo virus. It's not considered as a demo, but a weak virus is entered or is put into our body in form of vaccine. Okay, so I hope you understood the concept of vaccine. This I was expecting yesterday, but very few of you could give me this, that what is the meaning of vaccine. Okay, anyway, whenever I ask you to solve any question or to write any answer of the question, that time taking help of textbook is extremely important. So uh, when you write the answer, that time your language should be scientific. It should not happen that you're writing anyhow in your own language. So remember one simple thing: take help of textbook, search on the answers, and then write it. Okay. So let's go for the today's task. So what exactly we are going to check again? We continue the uses of microorganisms. So we have checked few uses in the last class, and we understood the uses deeply. So here another thing, that is soil fertility and cleaning the environment, also we are going to look at. Soil fertility. What is soil fertility? The manure what is been put into the soil, which increases the fertility, but this manure is being prepared by microorganisms or bacteria. So bacteria decomposes the material, the organic matter, and that converts as a manure. At the same time, this is a very important bacteria called as a cyanobacteria. What is it called as a cyanobacteria, which is green in color. These are also called as a nitrogen fixing bacteria. So what happens is, the nitrogen is present in the air, but the nitrogen which is present in the air directly, the plants cannot absorb. That's the reason these are the bacteria which are present in the soil, which fixes the nitrogen directly. Fixes the nitrogen means convert the nitrogen into water soluble substance which the plant can easily consume. These are called as a cyanobacteria. So these are present in the soil and which increases the fertility of the soil. So I hope you understood that the bacteria plays a very important role in making soil fertile. It adds humus into the soil, and the cyanobacteria fixes nitrogen from the environment in the soil. At the same time, cleaning of the environment also one of the important use of the bacteria or microorganisms. What happens here is, when a dead bodies or used organic matter is thrown in the environment, this organic matter cannot remain there like a plastic forever. The microorganisms, bacteria, decays those bodies or the part of the organic matter or organisms, and and it converts into simpler substances, and which can be dissolved or soluble in the soil itself directly. Now this is the way how the environment is cleaned by the microorganisms or different bacteria. Okay, decomposing bacteria. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. It's not like all the bacteria are very good for us. Rather, I can say very few bacteria are good for us. Rather, all other bacteria are really harmful. Okay, let us talk about harmful microorganisms. The diseases causing microorganisms are called as a pathogens. ये word very important है. The microorganisms which cause diseases are called as pathogens. Okay, your doctor, or if you have a doctor in your family, you must have heard this word many times from there, that pathogen, or it is pathogenic disease and all. So pathogens are those microorganisms which cause, or what causes the diseases in the human, not only human, even in animal or maybe in plant as well. Okay, so diseases, how the pathogen enters in the body. So pathogen enter in the body through maybe air, or maybe from the water, or from the food. So contaminated water or food, if we drink or consume, then surely the microorganisms will enter in the body, and that will cause the disease. As well as, the pathogen also can enter from the infected person to the healthy person. Okay, so the diseases which can spread through infected person to the healthy person are called as a communicable disease. Now, like a coronavirus is a communicable disease, TB is a communicable disease. Okay, chicken pox. Okay, there are so many different cholera or cough and cold. All these are nothing but communicable diseases which can transfer from one person, affected person, to the another person. Okay, and this transfer, or this disease communication is done through the air, or through the water, or through the food, or through direct physical contact. Okay, so through the air, how it happens, like due to sneezing, or maybe when a affected person take a breath, so through his mouth or through his body always, or maybe the virus will enter into the air, and that air, if someone else breathe, then the healthy person also gets affected. Similarly through water or the food, okay, or the physical contact as well. Typhoid, the person suffering from typhoid, normally typhoid is not considered to be a communicable disease, but still the person who has got typhoid, he or she won't take proper precaution, the typhoid might transfer, or typhoid might reach to the person living with that fellow. Okay, so hygiene is to be needed to be maintained here, right? Got it clear? So it's not only about useful microorganisms, even we need to know about harmful microorganisms. So some more microorganisms which are harmful to our body, that we will check into the next slide. So it's not only about human who transfer or manage to transfer the disease or virus or the bacteria, even animals do that. So ticks, house flies, because house flies sit on garbage or dust, right? And then that house fly comes and sit on the food, then surely it carries the bacteria, right? So these are called as a bacteria carriers. Not only that, even mosquito, you must have heard about that, malaria, dengue, these like I think chikungunya, all these are kind of diseases caused due to mosquito. But mosquito do not have, or actually the animal mosquito won't harm us. In fact, the bacteria which actually consider the mosquito as a host, that bacteria reaches in our body through these mosquitoes. Okay, so these are the animals, ticks, houseflies, or maybe female anopheles. These are nothing but bacteria carriers. Okay, so anopheles, that means it's a female, it's a type of mosquito which actually carry plasmodius. Plasmodius is nothing but a bacteria, name of the bacteria you can see here, name of the bacteria which causes malaria. Okay, plasmodium. So anopheles, plasmodium is nothing but the name of the bacteria, and malaria is nothing but name of the disease. Similarly, Aedes is name of a type of mosquito which has got a dengue virus in it, and which actually causes dengue. Need to remember this. Okay, female anopheles has got plasmodium, and which causes malaria, whereas Aedes, which has got dengue virus in it, and it causes dengue, right? So how to prevent it? Okay, how to prevent it? Especially cleaning, and we should not allow the water lodging, and let clean or keep the area or surrounding dry. These are the simple ways maintain hygiene. These are the simple ways, very simple ways, that can easily prevent such kind of diseases coming to us. Even government takes a lot of precautionary actions against these kind of insects. So I hope you understood that how to control the diseases caused by these kind of animals, right? It's not only about human, even animal has got difficulties, or animal gets diseases due to bacteria. So the another type of diseases that even animal gets is nothing but anthrax. Anthrax, even it is dangerous for human, and foot to mouth or foot and mouth diseases in cattles. So this is the kind of a diseases that are present in the animals. Those are caused due to microorganisms or bacteria, right? Let's continue. It's not about animals, even plant gets bacterial diseases. It's not only about animal. You must have observed this kind of a lemon which is here. Could you see that? This is citrus canker. Okay, this is citrus canker. You must have observed this kind of lemon. Otherwise, after this, whenever you purchase a lemon, you can just check at least one lemon out of 10. You will find that it has got such kind of a canker on it, such kind of spots on it, right? This is rust of wheat rusting. You could see here, and this is a yellow ven mosaic. Yellow ven mosaic. You can check the veins are yellow in color. Okay, so yellow ven mosaic of okra means bhindi, lady finger. So even animal gets the diseases, right? Here I have the chart in which there are different diseases and what precautionary action, preventive measures we need to take, those are mentioned. Okay, and of course mode of transformation, or it is through bacteria or virus, everything is mentioned in the chart. I want you to go through the chart because this will be helpful in writing some answers later on. Okay, so for an example, tuberculosis, TB, caused by bacteria and it is transformed by through air, and how to take a precautionary action, everything is mentioned very properly. So go through it very carefully and remember it as well. Okay, you can mention this table in your notebook as well. So when you write something, you remember in a better way. Let me tell you, so many people must be telling you this, that if you write you will remember it. Believe me, it is very true. When you read, you just pretend that you know, but when you write, it is compulsory that you need to remember it. So that's the reason writing will help you in remembering things. Okay, now this is the last, maybe almost slide, and after that we have the question. That's it. The next one is about food poisoning. So we are talking about harmful microorganisms. Harmful microorganisms. In harmful microorganisms, we have checked about pathogens, which are actually diseases causing bacteria. And now in this case, we are going to talk about food poisoning. Food poisoning, we have already heard. Some of you must have already experienced as well. What is food poisoning? Food poisoning is that the poison is not like a food has got a poison in it, or it's not like someone put the poison in it. In fact, the bacteria spoils the food. Bacteria which are present in the air that enters in the food and that spoils the food, and which makes the food unfit to eat. And if you consume such kind of a food, that will cause you kind of vomiting, diarrhea, and it might even cause the death. So we need to take proper precautions against food poisoning. So what precautions we have to take? Eat proper food, fresh food you have to eat. Wash vegetables and fruit before eating, before consuming, before using, right? Always fresh food you have to eat. Do not eat people who eat the previous day food on the next day. Do not eat such kind of food, right? Eat food which is properly covered. Even if you are eating a food outside, you have to eat or check the hygiene, and then go into the hotel or any of the place where you want to eat the food, right? So this is the way how we can take precautions against food poisoning. Food poisoning, at the same time we need to know about food preservation, isn't it? Nowadays, where we are really need of food in India, the population is quite high. At the same time, the production of the food is not in the similar quantity. So here we cannot afford wastage of food. That's the reason food preservation becomes a very important aspect. You must have seen the mango. If you keep for few days at your place in your house, isn't it that becomes so rotten, or it gets spoiled, it becomes blackened outside. But whereas the mango in a pickle will remain as same way forever, for maybe 1 or 2 years sometime as well, right? So why it is happening? So why the mango in a pickle won't get spoiled like an actual mango? Because the reason here is preservation, food preservation. So the methods that those are used to preserve the food are maybe a chemical method. Chemical method is normally you can see in the used in sauces or maybe any packed food. What you get packed food like sauce, ketchups, pickle from outside market, pickle from the market, or maybe juice, है ना? So all that ready-made food has got a chemical preservatives in it. Which are the chemical preservatives? Sodium benzonate or sodium metabisulfite. These are the few important preservatives added in this kind of ready to drink or ready to consume food articles or food packets, right? Even cold drinks you will find such kind of preservatives, chemical preservatives. Another thing is salting in sense, especially meat or maybe fish are actually dried by applying salt on it. And not only meat and not only non-veg, even veg like amla is dried using salt. Even coconut nahi, even mango, raw mango is dried and preserved, right? Even in coastal areas normally you will find fishes are preserved. At the same time, raw mango, amla, all these things are preserved so that they can use it in a rainy season, during rainy season. By sugar, candies, jam, fruit jam, squash, all these are crush, strawberry crush and all, you must know about it. All these are actually preserved by adding sugar and cooking it. Okay, what sugar does? Sugar reduces the moisture inside the fruit or fruit pulp, right? Sugar reduces it. So the reduction of the moisture will make the environment unfit for the microorganisms. So if there is no water, microorganisms cannot survive for longer time. That's the reason even by adding sugar in it, the food can be stored or the things can be stored. By oil and vinegar is nothing but acid. Okay, it's nothing but acid. So oiling, this is the way that how pickle is been stored, isn't it? Pasteurization is one of the very important way, very important way to preserve the milk. So how things gets pasteurized, or how people pasteurize milk? First of all, the milk is heated at around about 70 degrees Celsius for maybe 15 to 30 seconds, and suddenly it is cooled. So when things will be heated, strongly heated at maybe 70 degrees Celsius, the microorganisms uh, dies. At the same time, when we reduce the temperature suddenly, even the remaining microorganisms also die. So there are some microorganisms which can live at high temperature, and there are some microorganisms which can live at a very low temperature. So both type of microorganisms can be killed by this particular process. So what we call this process is nothing but pasteurization, where we increase the temperature and suddenly we reduce it. This is the way we can preserve the milk. So what is, and who does this pasteurization? In fact, when you get a packed milk, let me tell you, these packed milk is actually already pasteurized, so you can directly drink that milk, okay, without boiling it. But the milk directly from the cow or from the buffalo, we cannot drink it directly because there are several bacteria present in it, and that could be very harmful to us, right? Is this clear? So this is the part 2. We finished this. Now we have some questions. 9 questions you have to write all that. Okay, it's not big deal. Only maybe 1 or 2 questions are quite big, but all others are just simple and easy. Okay, but while writing the question, while writing the answer of the question, please do mention or do read the textbook. Okay, so get the help, take the help of the textbook, mention all the points which are present in the textbook. Okay, and then only then sorry, then submit that answers to me. Okay, so when I read the answers, I should see the textbook words there, textbook language there. Okay, I can easily identify whether you have searched or whether you wrote it as it is without any help. So do take efforts and then write the answers. Okay, so thank you so much. Bye bye, see you tomorrow for part 3.